Hi, everyone. Good morning. We're about to get started. Thank you for joining us for Transforming Data into Dollars. Just before we get started, please silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices you may have to just minimize any distractions during the session. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the sessions and keep engaged. Finally, at the end of the session, please take a moment to complete the session evaluation in the mobile app. Without further ado, allow me to introduce Austin Esecson from Rinsed and Alex Blankenburg from Rocket Carwash.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out for the first talk of the morning. I'm Austin Esecson, the CEO of Rinsed, the car wash CRM. So we plug into your existing point of sale, help you manage and grow your membership revenue. We're a fairly new company. This is only our 5th car wash show, but today we're installed at over 2,500 car wash locations around the country and help manage over 7.5 million members. But at the end of the day, we're a technology product, and we want to give you your best-in-class tools to really grow your revenue, but we're not car wash operators. So that's why I wanted to bring up one of our longtime customers, Alex here, to talk about ways they're using the tool to really help manage and grow their business. So Alex, if you want to do a quick intro?
Yep, my name's Alex Blankenburg. I'm on the board of directors and the vice president of Rocket Carwash. I've been in the car wash industry for just under 2 years now. And it's been a really cool journey with Rinsed. One of my key initiatives coming into the car wash industry, and our business in particular, was to turn it into a data-driven business. Historically, a lot of gut and feel decisions, and there's always going to be room for that in the car wash industry, but just saw a huge opportunity with these guys, and it's been a great partnership over the last couple of years, and really, again, turning the organization to be more data-driven.
Awesome. So first, just a quick plug for our quarterly industry report. So if you find the information we talk about here interesting, so as I said, we look across 7.5 million active members, and every quarter we publish anonymized, aggregated stats of what we're seeing in the industry. That's everything from trends in churn, same-store sales, broken down between retail and membership. So I think it's been a really useful tool to get more perspective than just the couple public comps that get published, as just what we're seeing across the industry. And we're increasingly working on allowing our customers to help benchmark their stats against what we're seeing industry-wide to see how they're stacking up and what are areas that we can help them improve. And you can go to rinse.com/subscribe to see that on a quarterly basis. We want to start by talking about breaking down your North Star metric. So every business is going to have that one metric that they're hoping to move over the course of the year. That might be revenue, that might be total members, but typically one they want to make that visible to the whole company. But that metric alone is probably not going to be very actionable on a day-to-day basis. So what we try and do is really figure out what are the inputs to that, and then how can we distribute those throughout your company to make them actionable. So that's really what we're going to talk about today is what is the North Star metric for Rocket, and then how do they break that down and make it operationally actionable on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so our North Star metric is definitely our membership growth. I don't think it's any secret that the recurring revenue and the membership model has transformed the way that a lot of car washes run their business. So for us, a lot of our revenue comes from those memberships, and really having that visibility and tracking it day to day is what allows us to grow. Now we view that membership net gain. We've started breaking it down because we view it as more of an outcome. There's things that you can do and you can track every single day that will ultimately lead to that membership growth long term. So here we see a couple charts that we've got built out in Rinsed. The one on the left-hand side there is kind of a membership goal chart. It breaks it down by location to benchmark really where each location's at relative to the goals that we set in place. And then the chart over there on the right-hand side is just our net members. So to calculate your net gain, we just take our new memberships sold minus our churn or our members lost, and that'll give us our net new members. And then from there, we can even break those metrics down even further. So that new sales piece is your number of retail washes, or we call them opportunities, times your conversion rate. That'll give you how many new sales you have. And then your churn is just your percentage of members lost there.
Awesome. And we'll go into more detail on each of those constituent metrics. And Alex, how often are you looking at that net gain number?
I mean, I would say we check the net gains daily. But again, like I said, it's more of an outcome. So like day to day, and the metrics that we're really paying attention to are those capture rates and those churn rates.
Yep. Yeah, but I think really important to have a North Star metric that is not something where you need to close the books each month to know how you're tracking, because then you get 12 instances to look at that over the course of the year. Versus, is this something you can have in the back office on a daily basis and be rallying the whole company around? So yeah, that takes us to how can we have this data be more real time and be more actionable? So on one end of the spectrum is maybe 15, 20 days after the month end, we're getting this number and then able to share it, and only then can we course correct? Or can we see this information on a more real time basis and try to course correct over the course of the year? So that we can end up in a much different place in 12 months. So the first one that we talk a lot about is conversion and capture rate. So this is really, of all of the opportunities in the driveway, so this is the non-members that are coming in, how many are you able to successfully turn to members? So I'd say if there was one metric that from a store manager level, they were able to look at on a daily basis or even intraday basis, it's probably this one. This can equalize for high volume and low volume stores. 10 opportunities are 10 opportunities. And if somebody can hit 10, 20% conversion rate, it's gonna have a huge difference on the business than if they're at 5%.
Yeah, so as Austin, and as you said, the conversion rate, really simple calculation. You take your volume of your non-member washes, and then you're gonna divide how many memberships you sold by that number. So if you saw 100 non-members come through today, sold 10 memberships, that's a 10% conversion rate. Something that's really important when you're doing this is to really set that benchmark. If you're really looking in to get to the sales and increase your memberships, get a good salesperson out there, go out there and do it yourself to set that benchmark, so that way you can set goals for your team and you know what to expect out there in the lanes. And then this is one of those metrics that we talked about, that having that real-time visibility. I'd rather know my sales at one of my stores sucks at 10 a.m. rather than the next day at 10 a.m. Because again, we can course correct from there. We can go in and listen to the pitch, maybe provide some real-time coaching or training if they're struggling in the morning, and we're able to be a little bit more proactive. Here you can see an example of that chart that refreshes hourly in the rinse dashboard. It's going to show us our total wash volume, our free washes, that would be things like rewashes, our member redemptions, and then our eligible washes. Those are the opportunities or the non-member washes that we look at. And then you can see the conversion rate. There's a nice little bar chart there, so you can sort by site, high to low, and you can really identify the sites that are succeeding and doing really well, and the sites that might need some training or coaching in real time.
And this is one I think us as a company, we've just had an increased focus on over time. It started as a daily metric for us, and we saw that being really valuable for our customers. Now we've pushed that down to be hourly, and we think that's probably still not enough. So last week we announced our acquisition of Ignite Wash. So Kyle and Craig are here, and Ignite Wash is this tool that is a salesperson management tool to really get visibility on a real-time basis by individual salesperson on what's happening with conversion rate. And I think we can break conversion rate down further into, of every car that's coming through, is there even a salesperson there? The coverage, are they getting the pitch? And then what's the conversion rate by salesperson? So I think you can make this even more actionable when you go down to the real time and the by salesperson level.
Really excited for that acquisition, by the way. It's gonna be awesome.
The second metric we want to talk about is lifetime value. So this is really looking over the course of a membership history. What's the total amount of revenue that we expect to receive from that customer? And they might be on a first 3 months at 50% off deal. Maybe they only paid $1 for their first month. But we want to track them over time to understand what is the actual value to the business of that member. And then this should inform our marketing decisions in terms of how much would we be happy to go spend to acquire another member who looks like them. Historically, this has been pretty difficult to ascertain from the existing reporting. You will see a bunch of members in a SKU, maybe their credit cards decline, maybe they come back in and it looks like a rejoin, or it looks like a new membership sign up. And so often what we found is our customers were losing track of that member over time. And the result of that was they were massively underestimating the lifetime value. So when we look across our customers, we see lifetime values north of $400, and that's over sort of the first 36 months of membership. And I think that should give people real confidence to go out and try to get more people onto the site through paid channels to acquire those customers profitably.
Yep, and one of the examples and one of the places that we've used this is tracking how effective different promo rates are. Kind of like net gain, I see LTV as more of an outcome to the things that you do every single day. If your teams are out there on site providing an awesome customer experience, the wash quality is great, people are going to want to stick around and they're going to be members for a long time, but really great to track for the marketing efforts and to really know what that value is. One of the ways that we really dove into this data was looking at our promos. The example here that we've got on the screen was we looked at a promotion that we offer for the first month versus if we offer that same discounted rate for 2 months versus we offer that same discounted rate for about 3 months. And then you can see here on these two charts, the one on the left shows how many months the members stick around based on those promos. And then on the right-hand side, again, how much revenue you can expect month over month. And it really allowed us to hone in our promo strategy. The question that we answered was how much do we need to give up on the front end to maintain members for as long as we can on the back end.
And really related to that is this CAC and ROI formula. So if you don't know the lifetime value of a member, you're not going to know how much you should go and spend on them. But even if you do know the LTV, unless you can attribute that member to the individual campaign that brought them in, you really only have half of the equation. So from whatever marketing channel you're using, whether it's Facebook, direct mail, partnerships with local businesses, the ability to actually say where this member came from and then track them over time really gives the marketer the full picture in order to know which channels are really driving those profitable customers to the wash.
Yep, and I think over the years, not just in the car wash industry, but in the marketing world, everything has become so ROI driven. ROI is like the buzzword out there that everybody wants to know that number, especially on the financial side. So it's something that's been huge for our marketing campaigns. Here we've got an example of a sponsorship that we did with a local. We're based out of Omaha, Nebraska, and we did a partnership with it's the University of Nebraska Omaha athletics department. They've got a D1 program. Hockey's their biggest sport there. They pack like 6,000-7,000 people into the hockey arena. So we figured, hey, let's partner up. These are a lot of our customers that are fans of this team. It's in a great demographic, great area for us. So we partnered with UNO. We had a few different campaigns that we tested out. And again, the visibility and being able to separate the campaigns is really what allowed this to be successful, where we tried a few different things. There was some in-game activation where everybody in the building gets a free car wash if this happens in the game. We also had a tabling event out there where we just had some of our marketing team out handing out swag, handing out free washes, did some push notifications through their app during the game to send out free car washes, and we broke those each down and were able to track the effectiveness of the different campaigns. All in all, ended up collecting about 2,200 new contacts, saw 650 people come through and redeem washes, and it led to just over 500 memberships for us. So to Austin's point, using the CAC and the ROI, we were able to say, okay, was this campaign worth it? Did it bring back more revenue than we ended up having to spend between the hard cost of the free washes, the campaign cost itself, and then any print materials or swag that we had to buy? We were able to show that this was very effective in terms of generating revenue relative to what it cost us.
Yeah, and free wash is this amazing tool to get people to the driveway, but then we see it's so common that then you lose sight of what happens to that customer afterwards, because they redeem their free wash and then there's not a transaction for membership at that time. Maybe that happens a month or 2 months later. But by knowing what email or phone number we sent that free wash to, and then linking that up when they do become a member with the email or phone number that they eventually provide, then you get the full picture and you can really see what are the channels that we should continue to go after because they're driving a lot of membership signups. I think historically, if you lose sight, then you just see those free washes, you just see the cost side, and then you end up making the wrong business decision. Great, so we have some time for questions, if anyone has them. Yep.
I'm just going to say that's incredible. Results not typical, right? You did a great job on the pay station.
Yep, yeah. That's part of tracking the data in real time, right? Is we can see it and we are out there. We have training teams and we really push our operations team to get out there and man those pay stations and sell memberships. Yeah.
What is the bogey for conversion rate for you all?
It depends on the market. We try not to put every single site into the same box, but typically anywhere from 20 to 30%.
Okay, nice.
30% what?
That's capture rate.
Yeah.
Yep.
So of non-members that come through, if 100 come through, can we convert 20 to membership?
Is that typical? When you do the program, typical? You do that?
Yeah, for us, yes. I think the industry average is somewhere 10 to 15%.
Yeah, it's industry average is high single digits, but we see a huge variance, and we do see people consistently able to do 15% plus, but it really does, you have to staff the lanes, and you have to have a system of accountability, because it really is at the individual salesperson level, and that's something you can, of course, correct in real time. Yep.
From location to location, is there a certain number of members that you could basically keep happy? Like, do you have a cap on each site?
Yeah, so the question was, from location to location, is there a certain number of members you think you can achieve at sort of a cap? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, now that I think about it, we don't necessarily set that cap like from a volume perspective. Obviously, our sites with 3 pay lanes and some more vacuums are able to house more members than our sites with maybe 2 pay lanes and 8 vacuum units. But we've definitely got some anomalies in the portfolio that if you went to the site, you wouldn't believe the member count given the size of the site. And I've seen some other operators that I've been shocked by their numbers that you can pack into a small space. For us, I think it's more of there becomes a point where you max out your membership because you're not going to see as many opportunities or retail washers naturally coming through that you're not going to be able to offset that churn just given the sheer volume of new opportunities you're seeing. So you kind of hit that tipping point, more so based on volume.
Do you offer free vacuums at each site?
Yes. Yep.
And I think if we rolled back 5 years, people thought the ceiling on membership I think was much lower than they think today, and I suspect that will continue. So at 2 p.m. on the floor, I'm giving a pitch around what we see is the difference between our locations that have 5,000 plus members and those that have less. And the interesting thing is that we still see those 5,000 plus members, they're growing more than twice as fast as the other ones still. So I think wherever the ceiling is, we're not there yet. Yep.
Do you have any clients who are using this in self-serve without employees there full-time to sell memberships?
Yeah, we have some in-bays, I think we just see a lower cap on the conversion rate for sure, but I think still a lot of the same things around, can you see that somebody redeemed that free wash and immediately recontact them while it's front of mind and give them a relevant offer, still definitely apply.
Notice on the graph the retention promotion seemed to be one of the more effective ones. Is that more like the downsell offer?
Yep.
Discounted membership is where you're trying to.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, the question was, for anyone that couldn't hear, is that on that chart, there was a plan, it's called the retention plan, that was like high and above the rest of the promotional plans. And yes, that is our downsell offers. There's a few of them that are kind of bundled into that group. But yeah, that's whenever a member reaches out, wants to cancel their membership, we hit them with a downsell offer. And if they accept, we typically tend to see those people stick around a little bit longer. They feel like they're getting, the deal of a lifetime, and they don't want to give that up. So they tend to stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah. So I think, on one hand, probably not totally fair to compare them to a brand new member. But on the other hand, this was someone who was heading for the exit And we do see that with these downsell offers, which is looking at their usage, potentially offering them a lower rate to stay in their existing membership, we're seeing them stay on average over 9 months of additional time. So it's not as though people are just accepting them and then canceling the next month. So it adds a lot more revenue for the operator. Yep.
What's the ratio between a single wash price and the membership? And how important is that to conversion?
For us, it varies. So it's different for the different wash packages. Typically about 2.5 for our express wash, and then typically about 1.5 to 1.75 for our top wash. So we want to make it a little bit more of a no-brainer, so to speak, to choose the membership if you're looking at that top single wash.
Is that the same across all of your locations?
Nope, we price, it's different by market. Take into some other factors, I mean, some of the demographics in the area, some competitor pricing and things like that. It's a little bit different in each market, but a similar model and thought process.
Prices are different, but the ratio is about the same.
About the same, yep.
So to piggyback on that question, obviously usage rate is a big factor in all this as well, and on sort of the gross profit of that member. Are you guys monitoring that, and do you see different tiers affecting the usage rate? Do you see sort of anything that jumps out as sort of the best practice for you?
Not as much in the different tiers. It seems to be pretty consistent across the board for us in that sense. But yes, we do monitor it. We have a few different charts and rinse that we look at. We see seasonality tends to impact that more than anything else. But typically, I mean, you see it anywhere between 2 and 3 washes per month across the board is pretty healthy for us. And then from there, it's mostly seasonality.
And for your downsell offer, do you kind of curtail that to people that might have a higher LTV? When you see a lower usage rate, you say, okay, I can give a bigger discount here?
Yep. We have like 3 or 4 different plans. We have a support center that manages a lot of that. Our teams on site have a few different tools. So yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different plans, and we try and guide them to present a couple different offers and lead with the one that makes the most sense given how long that customer's been around. If someone's been around for 2 years, washes their car 2-3 times a month, like we know it's a little bit easier to keep them around than somebody who might have just signed up last month and used the wash one time.
Yep. And one thing we see in our data is people do not change their wash habits when you put them into one of these downsell plans. So I think with the aggregated data, we can get very comfortable having a much more aggressive offer if someone's washing on average less than 1 time a month, but still keep them profitably, which is really our goal, to keep them profitably and automate that process so it doesn't require a lot of manual intervention. Yep.
So the conversion rate is about single digits for the industry. And obviously you've got 20% on certain sites. Do you see where there's opportunities for training and what type of tools you're using that actually generates up to 20%? What types of tools you're using for the salespeople?
Yeah, I would say the biggest one, like Austin mentioned earlier, is accountability and like really looking at that data and monitoring it throughout the day and holding the teams accountable to following a process. Now, in order to hold people accountable to a process, you have to have a process in place. So that kind of goes back to getting out there, doing it yourself, or getting your best seller or one of your most trusted people out there to truly build out a sales process, to get feedback from the customer front and center is, I think, the biggest piece. Once you have that proven process in place, then you know what the benchmark can and should be, and then it's about the accountability and monitoring the data. And then, we have a training team that'll run out if we see, a blip in the numbers or a site that's inconsistent. We'll send our training team out there. You can do some retraining. We use a tool called Trainual to do a lot of our training modules. So we'll, if we see someone struggling, we'll just push them right back through that training module, do some hands-on training, and then typically we see improvement from there. It's called Trainual. Yep.
And I'd encourage you to check out Ignite Wash at Innovation Alley as well. Ignite Wash. Yeah, and so that was really what got us so excited about this acquisition was we had some mutual customers. We were able to see in the data just the improvement in conversion rate. I feel like it's a problem that all car wash operators struggle with.
When looking at a more mature site and how much room you might still have to run with a program, with a club membership program, what is the ideal or target kind of ratio of all the cart washes to memberships, like the club penetration within the site? Is it 60, 70% of the washes going through the club? What is that ideal with your kind of top performers?
Yeah, Yeah, good question. And it's going to be dependent by market and then obviously by what, your goals are for that site. Typically for us, when we see a site hit maturity, it'll be anywhere from like 80 to 90% of our washes are from members. Yeah.
And I think, people historically have focused on this like ratio, and I think another way to look at it is it might be 80% of your wash volume, but if we zoom out and look over the course of the year, we can be pretty confident that about 3/4 of the unique customers you're gonna see are still those non-members. So there's a lot of opportunity out there still. You're just not seeing them often enough.
Yep.
Great. Any last question?
One more.
Okay.
What is your average customer lifetime, like months that you see in all of your data? What is the industry average
You got the industry?
Yeah, I don't wanna misquote, but I believe we have handouts for our latest quarterly report that I think has that number on it. So just grab one on your way out. Yep.
So I know you guys hit on North Star being net member adds, but with 80 to 90% of washes as members already, how do you think about kind of the pivot between focusing on membership sales as opposed to focusing on current members and upgrading them to a higher package?
Yeah, great question there. Typically for us, once we hit that 80, 90% membership and we kind of hit that ceiling, if you will, it shifts more to a customer service perspective, because I think if you're taking care of your members, if you have people greeting them with smiles on their faces, we give out dash wipes in the lanes. So if you have someone there to hand them a dash wipe, it's more so about just maintaining that lifetime of the membership. And we believe that if someone's coming in consistently and they're seeing the value of that wash, they're going to want to jump up to that top package. So to answer your question, we don't lean into upselling, someone who may be on our good wash to our best wash in the lanes. We hope to provide that value in the service so they want to see that and make that decision on their own. There are some tools within Rinse, though, that we have done some member upsells through text message pushes, or you could say, hey, try out our best wash for 2 months, and then you can, let them try it out for free and then upgrade them after that trial period. So that's one thing that we've kind of dabbled in, doing it digitally through text message campaigns through the CRM.
Yeah, where we see a lot of opportunities when you are introducing a new top package. So then how do you make your existing customers aware of it and potentially give them an easy on-ramp to that higher LTV package? Yep.
When a customer comes to the site, I assume you have like an ICS or point of sales?
We actually use the semi-attended lanes, DRB customers. So we have salespeople manning. It's basically just the computer out there in the lanes.
So what's your ratio like when the customer comes, do you have them go through the DRB process of signing up, or do you go to this platform?
In the driveway, it's the DRB process, signing up, yep.
And what's your ratio of members for the Rinse?
Yeah, so Rinse sits on top of your existing point of sale hardware. So we're compatible with all of the top 5 major express car wash point of sales, and then give you these additional tools to communicate with your customers, automate things like these upsell offers or downsells, and communicate with them with email and text.
That would only be the members that sign through the Rinse platform, or all of them?
All of the members. Yep. So we see all the members, all the transaction data. So in his example of the local hockey promotion, so were people texting in?
Yep.
So there was at the game there was a text Rocket to the short code. Rinsed would then send them a free wash. When they went and redeemed that, Rinsed would see that and then subsequently message them to get them back in. But they're ultimately signing up at the point of sale.
When you push past, maybe you have that 90% threshold, you actually start to see some margin erosion?
A bit. Typically, that's seasonal. So once that site hits, like we'll call it the maturity level. Typically, in the busy season, you're going to see those memberships tick upward, and then in your slow season, it's going to go down. It kind of looks like a little roller coaster on a chart. Yeah.
Great. Oh, one more. Last one here.
What's the conversion you see from when you offer free washes and those customers that signing up for a member, and what sort of conversion do you see?
So are you referring to like the percentage of conversion on someone who comes in and redeems a free wash? Yep. It's typically it's similar to our regular sales process where we'll see that 20 to 30%. Typically we'll allow the customers to use the voucher whatever the value of that voucher, that free wash voucher is, to apply toward their first month of a membership. So just kind of decrease that barrier of entry and make that first month a little bit cheaper for them. We've seen success there.
Great. Well, thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all starting your car wash show with us, and have a great show. Thanks, Alex. That was great. Really
Solid.
good. Yeah, man. Terrific.
Yeah, thank you.
At the hockey game that you talked about.
Yep.